This is our hero Jian, an ordinary and simple young man who was bullied by everyone around him throughout his life. One day, while sitting in front of his computer, he wished to die and be transported to another world, a world without bullying or injustice, where he could live a normal life. Suddenly, his wish actually comes true. The boy dies and is reborn in another world called the Land of Dragons. At first, he thought his life would finally become perfect, but things did not go as he had hoped. He is reincarnated into the body of a weak child, and worse than that, he becomes a slave to a man who does not possess even a shred of mercy. Yes, my friend, he escaped bullying in his old world only to become a slave in this one. What terrible luck. 3 years pass for Jian in this world. After a long day of work, he sits beneath a tree and wishes to return to his original world once again. Suddenly, a group of thugs from the demonic clan attacks the village where Jian lives. One of them tries to kill a man, but Jian intervenes at the last moment and saves him. The thug then attacks Jian, grabs him, and flies high into the air. He intends to throw him down from above, but Jian is not easy to deal with and keeps resisting. In the end, the thug manages to grab Jian by the neck and is about to kill him. But at the last second, a wave of energy strikes the thug, causing Jian to slip from his grasp and nearly fall into the valley below. However, Jian manages to cling to the rocks before falling, and we learn that the ones who attacked the thug were disciples from the Jiuhan clan, who arrived to defend the villagers. Afterward, the disciples chase down the thug and the rest of the demonic clan members and attack them. Jian watches them with admiration, wishing he could become one of them and possess magical power to protect the weak instead of living in humiliation. Suddenly, a bright light appears and an old man emerges from it. The old man tells our hero that he can make his wish come true and introduces himself as the immortal Lijiang. He explains that he has been searching for an ambitious young man to become his disciple, someone he can teach martial arts and spiritual energy techniques, and he offers Jian the chance to become his student. Jian hesitates, but suddenly a system screen appears before him. The system gives him 3 choices and informs him that only one of them is correct, while the other 2 could eventually lead to his death. Jian is shocked, but at the same time excited because he has obtained a legendary system just like in the anime stories he loves. So he decides to follow the system and choose one of the options. The first option, accept the old man's offer and become his disciple. The second option, refuse the offer and return to being a miserable slave. The third option, end his life and return to his original world. Jian chooses to become the old man's disciple and desperately begs him, saying, "Please, let me become your disciple." The old man immediately agrees. The next day, he takes Jian to a coal mine and tells him that his first training is to strengthen his body. Therefore, he must work there until his body becomes stronger and gains muscle, so he can endure the harsh training ahead. Then he leaves Jian with the work supervisor and disappears as soon as he finishes speaking. Jian begins working in the mine, but he quickly becomes exhausted and cannot continue. The supervisor approaches him, beats him harshly, and orders him to keep working. Jian is shocked by the treatment and tells the man that he is not his slave and that he will complain to his master. But the man laughs at him and reveals the truth. The old man deceived him and actually sold him as a slave to work in the mine. Jian is devastated by the truth and collapses to the ground. At that moment, the system appears again and gives him 3 choices: remain on the ground and endure the humiliation and beating, beg the man to stop, continue working normally. Out of fear, Jian chooses to beg, but the man continues beating him mercilessly. Then Jian reads the third option and tells the man that he will continue working. The supervisor immediately stops beating him and leaves him alone. The system rewards Jian for choosing correctly and heals his injuries. 3 months pass. While Jian is sleeping, some slaves wake him up and tell him that the mine owner and the guards have fallen asleep after drinking, making this their chance to escape. Jian hesitates between escaping and staying behind. As usual, the system appears before him again, this time offering 4 choices. One of those choices is escaping with them. Jian agrees to flee, but the next day the guards catch him during the escape attempt. As punishment, the mine owner begins torturing him, saying, "This is what you deserve for trying to run away." Later, Jian heads back to the cave to continue working. But suddenly, the cave explodes. When he emerges, he discovers that the disciples of the Jiuhan clan are attacking the place. The system appears again and gives him 3 choices, one of which is to use the chaos as an opportunity to escape. Jian attempts to flee once more, but one of the mine guards blocks his path and attacks him. Before the guard can kill him, someone suddenly appears and eliminates the guard instantly. It turns out to be one of the Jiuhan clan disciples. He speaks kindly to Jian and reassures him, explaining that they received orders from their clan leader to free the slaves being oppressed there. Jian is overjoyed because he will finally become free. He asks the disciple if he can join their clan. The disciple agrees and says he will speak with the clan leader and try to convince him to accept Jian. 5 whole years pass, and Jian officially joins the Jiuhan clan. Through the intense training he undergoes, he develops tremendous physical strength, enough to defeat legendary beasts with ease. Despite that, he remains the weakest disciple in the clan. This is because warriors in this world possess 5 energy pathways inside their bodies, allowing them to use spiritual energy and magical spells. Jian, however, possesses 6 energy pathways. Ironically, he cannot use any of them. As a result, he is unable to use spiritual energy or cast magical spells. Because of this, he relies solely on his physical strength, which causes the other disciples to bully him, making him constantly feel like an outsider among them. One day, while sitting alone and thinking about how to activate his energy pathways, 2 girls approach him and ask if he is Jian. But Jian lies to them and says he is not Jian, claiming they can find him in the clan library before quickly disappearing and hiding behind a pillar. Then his friend walks up to him and asks, "Why are you hiding like this, Jian?" The 2 girls overhear the conversation and approach him, asking who he was talking to. He replies that he was talking to his friend Jian, who is lying on the ground. The girls walk over to Jian and begin speaking with him. He asks what they want. The girl named Jin explains that they are going on a mission outside the clan and want him to accompany them. Jian refuses at first, saying that he is busy. As he tries to leave, Jin's friend Liao stops him and raises her sword in his face, saying, "Do you even know who we are?" Before the situation escalates further, one of the clan's most important instructors arrives. The disciples quickly greet her respectfully, and it is revealed that her name is Instructor Lai, the teacher responsible for training Jin and Liao. Instructor Lai asks Jian to speak with her privately. She tells him that she knows he has spent 5 years in the clan without being able to activate any of his energy pathways. But despite that, he has gained tremendous physical strength. Because of this, the clan leaders rely on him for simple missions, such as accompanying new disciples on their first assignments. She then explains that Jin is actually the princess of one of the kingdoms, while Liao is her close friend. Since they recently joined the clan, they will be going on their very first mission the next day. For that reason, she asks Jian to accompany them and take responsibility for protecting them. Jian wants to refuse, but the system appears before him and gives him 3 choices, with the best option being to accept the mission. So Jian agrees. The next day, Instructor Lai brings him to her disciples and informs them that Jian has agreed to accompany them and that they must follow his orders. She also introduces him to 3 other girls who will join them, and it turns out they are triplets, so they are referred to as the 3 sisters. After that, Jian takes them to the instructor responsible for assigning missions. Before entering, he tells them that each of them will receive 10 points upon completing the mission. These points are extremely important within the clan because they can be exchanged for better weapons and food. However, Jian warns them that, as the team leader, he will deduct points from anyone who disobeys his orders. Liao immediately objects to his attitude, so Jian instantly deducts 1 point from her score. Then he takes several hats out of his storage ring and tells them to wear them to conceal their identities. After putting them on, they head to the mission instructor, who informs them that their mission will take place in a city called Longshan. He then hands them a scroll containing the details of the mission. Jian and the girls depart for the city. Upon Upon arriving, they discover that children in the city have been disappearing and no one knows who is responsible. Their mission is to find the kidnapper. Meanwhile, Lio wants to wander around the marketplace and asks Jin to accompany her, but Jian warns them not to move without his permission, threatening to deduct 5 points. As they walk through the market, they witness a group of thugs assaulting a merchant because he failed to repay his debt. Lio feels sorry for the merchant and wants to interfere, but Jian stops her, insisting that getting involved will only bring them trouble. At that moment, someone watches them from afar with an evil expression. Later, Jian takes the girls to an inn and asks for 3 rooms. The innkeeper agrees and leads them upstairs. However, the girls find the inn unpleasant and demand to move to a better place. Jian refuses and tells them they need to forget their luxurious lifestyles and adapt to their current circumstances if they want the mission to succeed. In the middle of the night, Lio is still awake. She thinks to herself that blindly following Jian's orders in everything will not help them accomplish the mission. Because of this, she decides to go out alone and search for the child kidnapper herself. While walking through the streets, she notices an old woman crying. Lio approaches her and asks, "Grandma, what's wrong? Why are you crying?" The old woman explains that her daughter-in-law treats her terribly, beats and insults her, and even threw her out of the house while her own son refused to let her back in. Lio becomes furious after hearing this and tells the old woman to take her to her son's house so she can teach the daughter-in-law a lesson. The old woman agrees and leads her there. Lio knocks on the door and a young woman opens it. The moment she sees the old woman, she angrily says, "Why did you come back here again?" Lio storms inside, insults her, and says, "How dare you treat her like this? I'll teach you a lesson today." Then she draws her sword and points it at the young woman. But instead of being frightened, the young woman insults her back. At that moment, her husband walks out of the house and says, "What are you all doing outside so late at night? Come inside and let's talk peacefully." But wait, isn't this the same man who had been watching Jian and his group earlier? As mentioned before, he definitely does not look trustworthy. Nevertheless, Lio agrees to enter the house with them. The moment she steps inside, she discovers the same group of thugs she saw earlier that morning gathered there. The old woman suddenly says, "I've never seen a girl as naive as you before." Then she turns to the thugs and tells them that Lio appears to come from a wealthy family and could be sold for a high price in the slave market. At that moment, Lio realizes she has been tricked. She prepares to fight, but suddenly she feels dizzy and a sharp pain strikes her head. It seems someone sprayed a drug on her. The thugs surround her from every direction, but Lio is not weak. She fights back fiercely and blocks all their attacks. She strikes left and right, preventing them from overpowering her, but they continue surrounding her from every side. As a result, she channels magical power into her sword and finally manages to break through them. She nearly reaches the door, but the leader of the thugs suddenly appears and blocks her path. He is about to finish her off when our hero Jian arrives at the last second and stops him. The leader attacks Jian with wind magic, but Jian blocks it with his bare hand. Then the thug leader uses lightning magic, yet Jian blocks that effortlessly as well. The leader becomes enraged and charges at Jian with a sword, but a single punch from Jian sends him crashing into the wall, and a kick afterward throws him across the room. Jian is about to leave, but the thug leader unleashes all of his power and attacks once more. As usual, with just one strike from Jian, the entire house is destroyed, all without him using even a trace of magic. Afterward, Jian disappears from the scene while carrying Lio with him. The thugs gather around their leader to check on him, but he crawls out from beneath the rubble, still alive. Elsewhere, Lio is unconscious. When she wakes up, she finds Jin beside her. Jin hugs her tightly and begins crying. Jian is there as well, and he explains that someone sprayed a drug on her, but she is fine now because he gave her the proper medicine and the effects have disappeared. He then tells her to rest because they will continue the mission in the morning. As Jian turns to leave, Liao stops him and apologizes for disobeying his orders and sneaking out at night without permission. Jian tells her that the matter is over and leaves her to rest. The following morning, the team gathers to head toward a nearby village called Yangwu Village. Jian explains that he gathered information from the city residents and discovered that most of the child kidnappings occur in that village. Therefore, that is where they will investigate next. Before leaving, Jian explains the new plan. He and Jin will enter the village disguised as traveling merchants to gather information, while the rest of the girls remain outside the village until they return. Everyone agrees, and they head toward the village. Once there, Jian and Jin begin walking around with toys, attracting many children around them. However, a woman quickly rushes over, grabs her children, and leaves immediately. Then a man approaches Jian and asks if he is new to the village. He explains that child kidnappings have become extremely common recently, which is why mothers must stay alert and never leave their children with strangers. He also points toward a woman crying nearby and tells Jian that her child was kidnapped 2 days ago, and she has been crying ever since. Jian thanks him for the information and continues walking with Jin. As they move through the village, Jian notices an eye symbol drawn on the house of the woman whose child was kidnapped, which immediately catches his attention. Then he spots the same symbol on another house, making him even more suspicious. He asks Jin to question a group of nearby blacksmiths and find out whether a kidnapping had occurred in the neighboring house. One of the blacksmiths confirms that a child was kidnapped from that house about a month ago. Jin relays the information to Jian, and after hearing it, he gathers the rest of the team. Jian explains to them that the eye symbol is being placed on the houses where children have been kidnapped. He believes the kidnapper marks any house he plans to break into and abduct children from. Because of this, they decide to monitor the village houses during the night. Sure enough, while hiding and watching the houses, they eventually spot the kidnapper sneaking into one of the homes before escaping again before anyone can catch him. The group immediately chases after him, but the kidnapper manages to flee into a magical cave hidden deep inside the forest. It appears to be his hideout. However, the entrance to the cave is blocked by a massive rock, and strangely, the kidnapper passes through it with ease. Jian immediately realizes that the area is under the effect of some kind of strange magic. Suddenly, the environment changes completely. A gigantic demon appears, along with the floating head of a giant girl, making them realize that an illusion spell has been activated. To break the illusion, they must defeat both the demon and the giant girl's head. But the giant head gives them no time to think and immediately launches an attack. Liao and Jin try to fight back with all their strength until Jian joins the battle and effortlessly blocks every attack. Not only that, but he counterattacks with overwhelming force and lands a devastating blow that smashes the giant head into the ground. Meanwhile, the three sisters battle the gigantic demon, launching relentless and rapid attacks without mercy. However, the demon proves incredibly powerful. It withstands all their attacks and begins overpowering them in combat. When they realize they cannot defeat it, they attempt to retreat, but the demon continues chasing them. At the last moment, Jian arrives after defeating the giant head and attacks the demon. He bombards it from every direction, giving it no chance to recover, until he finally lands the finishing blow and kills it. As soon as the demon dies, the illusion magic disappears, and the giant rock blocking the cave entrance vanishes as well. Jian orders his group to sneak into the cave and capture the criminal. Inside the cave, they discover several kidnapped children crying in fear. The kidnapper is sitting there alongside one of his followers, and it turns out to be the same man who previously spoke with Jian in the village. The two hear noises coming from outside the cave, so they decide to investigate, only to find Jian and his group already holding the rest of their followers captive. The kidnapper immediately tries to escape, but Jian blocks his path and tells him that there is no way he will get away. Jian then asks Jin to summon the kingdom's guards so they can arrest the criminals. Jin leaves to carry out the order while Jian frees the children. Liao asks Jian why the children were being kidnapped, and he explains that these criminals work for a clan known as the Savage Clan, one of the clans allied with a demonic sect. The clan is infamous for eating human flesh, especially children. Liao becomes furious after learning the truth. Meanwhile, the criminal offers Jian a deal. If Jian lets him escape, escape. He will reveal the location of a legendary book that can increase Jayan's power and teach him magical spells. At first, Jayan shows no interest, but eventually he asks the man to continue and reveal the location of the book. By sunrise, the criminal has already told Jayan where the book can be found, and he demands that Jayan honor the agreement and let him escape before the guards arrive. But Jayan refuses, insisting that he cannot allow him to escape after committing so many crimes. The criminal desperately tries to gain Jayan's sympathy, explaining that he kidnapped children only to sell them and earn money to treat his sick sister and support his elderly parents. He even starts crying. However, Jayan remains unmoved and states that the man still has to pay for his actions. Shortly afterward, the kingdom's guards arrive and arrest the criminal along with all of his followers. A short time later, Jayan and his group begin returning to their clan, but they stop in the forest to rest before continuing their journey the next day. Elsewhere, a man named Yu appears. He had previously been at the inn where Jayan and his group stayed. Yu tells the innkeeper that he received information about 6 people who stayed there during the last 2 days and appeared to be warriors. The innkeeper initially tries to protect his guests' privacy and denies knowing anything. But Yu suddenly summons a gigantic snake from his hand and threatens him. Terrified, the innkeeper confesses everything. He explains that the guests were young people around 18 years old who hid their identities beneath hats. He also shows Yu the coins they used for payment. The moment Yu sees the coins, he realizes they are the type used by the Jiuhan clan, allowing him to conclude that the group belongs to that clan. As soon as he obtains this information, Yu immediately reports back to his leader, who orders him to find them as quickly as possible and take revenge for what they did to his subordinates. It is also revealed that the leader of the gang who previously tried to kidnap Liao is present there and still bears the humiliation of his crushing defeat at Jayan's hands. Furthermore, it becomes clear that the leader Yu serves is actually the mastermind behind the corruption spreading throughout the city. Back on Jayan's side, he is sitting outside the girls' tent, guarding them while they sleep. However, the girls cannot fall asleep and continue talking about Jayan's overwhelming strength. It seems they have started developing feelings for him. The next day, Jayan was returning to the clan with his group when he suddenly heard the sounds of battle nearby. Sure enough, they discovered a group of bandits attacking several people. The girls immediately intervened and fought the bandits until they managed to defeat them. A young man named Wang thanked them for saving him. Jayan then asked about his identity, and Wang revealed that he was the son of a king who ruled a clan affiliated with the demonic sect. The moment the girls heard this, they drew their swords and prepared for battle. But Jayan calmed them down and asked Wang why he was here. Wang explained that although his clan belonged to the demonic sect, they were peaceful and never harmed innocent people. He also revealed that his father had expelled him from the clan because he was weak compared to his brothers, though he still sent a few guards to protect him. Wang said he came to this place searching for a quiet life away from conflict, but the bandits attacked him, forcing him to defend himself. Jayan felt sympathy for him, and at that moment, the system appeared before him once again, presenting him with 3 choices, one of which was to help Wang. So Jayan gave him a book containing advanced body training techniques to strengthen himself. He also handed Wang and his guards hats to conceal their identities. Wang thanked Jayan, and afterward Jayan left with the girls. Elsewhere, Yu appeared alongside one of his subordinates. He showed him a drawing of hats similar to the ones Jayan's group wore and ordered him to search for 6 people wearing them. Jayan and his group eventually arrived at the clan headquarters. Before entering, Jayan informed the girls that each of them had earned 10 points for successfully completing the mission. However, he deducted 2 points from Liao because she disobeyed orders, snuck out at night, endangered herself, and behaved disrespectfully toward him. He then established 2 rules. First, if any teachers asked about the mission, they were not to mention Jayan's name and instead claim they completed the mission themselves. Second, they were not to bother him after returning because he wanted to remain alone. After that, Jayan reported the successful completion of the mission to the instructor responsible for assignments and then left. Because he continuously chose the correct options given by the system, he was rewarded with the ability to fly. Jian happily began flying through the skies until he reached a certain location where he searched for the legendary book the criminal had told him about. After searching for a while, he found a chest, but the moment he attempted to open it, the entire area exploded and a mechanical guardian appeared to protect the chest. The machine attacked Jian immediately, but Jian blocked its attacks and attempted to counterattack. However, the mechanical warrior used magical abilities and fired blasts at him, forcing Jian to retreat. In the end, though, Jian managed to land a finishing blow that destroyed it completely. Afterward, he approached the chest once again. The moment he opened it, a poisonous insect leaped out and attacked him, but Jian quickly caught it and sealed it inside a bottle. He then took the legendary book and began reading it, deciding to return home and train using its contents. Once back home, Jian drew a magical circle and sat inside it. He recited an incantation from the book, causing spiritual energy to fill the entire area. At long last, Jian succeeded in using spiritual energy and magical spells for the very first time. After training, exhaustion overwhelmed him, and he immediately fell asleep. The next day, while wandering through the clan, his mentor Tang called out to him and informed him that Instructor Lai wanted to see him. Jian followed him, and it became clear that Tang had special feelings for Instructor Lai. When Jian arrived, Instructor Lai asked him why he never told her the details of the mission and whether he had been avoiding her. Jian answered honestly, yes. Tang was completely shocked by the response and immediately ordered Jian to show her respect while trying to calm the situation. However, Instructor Lai asked Tang to leave so she could speak with Jian privately. Before leaving, Tang warned Jian, "If I find out you upset Instructor Lai, I will never forgive you." After Tang left, Instructor Lai sat down with Jian and told him that her disciples had already informed her about everything that happened during the mission. They had explained how capable he was and how he successfully solved every problem they encountered. She then asked him why, if he possessed such strength and skill, he did not participate in more missions to prove himself before the clan leaders. Jian replied that he disliked complications and had no desire to seek out trouble. All he wanted at the moment was to live peacefully and stay away from unnecessary conflicts. Instructor Lai told him she would respect his decision and would no longer force anything upon him. However, since he had helped her disciples during their first mission, she believed it was her duty to reward him. She also told him not to hesitate to come to her if he ever needed anything. Jian thanked her sincerely. Afterward, Instructor Lai left the room, but when she opened the door, she found Tang standing outside eavesdropping on their conversation. She ignored him completely and walked away. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the clan, two disciples were being honored after winning first place in the annual sword tournament between the clans. It was revealed that the girl's name was Lin, while the young man was called Mushang. Both came from wealthy families. The disciples of the sect admired Lin greatly and desperately wished to speak with her. Among them were two young men, one extremely wealthy and the other exceptionally handsome, who made a bet on which of them could get close to her first and make her fall in love. Later on, Lin wandered through the forest when several admirers surrounded her, trying to talk to her. She eventually managed to escape them and thought to herself that she had finally gotten rid of their annoyance. But suddenly, the two young men appeared before her. The handsome one confidently proposed a relationship to her, believing she would easily accept him. Instead, Lin slapped him across the face and ordered him to stay away. Then the wealthy young man tried to impress her by boasting about his family's fortune and promising to fulfill every wish she had if she agreed to be with him. Lin simply stuffed flowers into his mouth, mocked him, and walked away. After that, she headed toward Jian's house, but she did not find him there, so she left him a gift hidden inside a barrel, hoping he would like it. It became obvious that she had feelings for him. Meanwhile, Mushang was walking through the forest on his way to meet Jian when suddenly an exact copy of himself emerged from underground and attacked him. Mushang instantly drew his sword and began fighting. The clone possessed exactly the same strength as him, but in the end he managed to defeat it. At first, Mushang assumed Jian had placed this magical trap to protect his house, but to his shock, the clone rose up and attacked again. It nearly landed a fatal blow on him, but Jian arrived at the last second, causing the clone to disappear immediately. Jian scolded him and asked if he was an idiot for not following the instructions about how to bypass the traps safely. Mushang apologized and explained that he came to tell Jian about winning first place in the sword tournament, admitting that it was thanks to Jian's previous training. But Jian downplayed his own contribution and insisted the credit belonged entirely to Musheng's hard work. Afterward, Musheng told Jian that he had learned a new sword technique and asked him to watch it. Jian agreed. The moment the battle began, Musheng launched a sudden attack, but Jian effortlessly dodged it and mocked his level. Then Jian invited him back home, and Musheng agreed. Once there, they sat together talking. Jian asked him about his opponents in the tournament. Musheng explained that most of them were average fighters except for one opponent who was extremely fast and had only been defeated with great difficulty. Jian advised him that speed-based fighters are difficult to overcome, but they can be defeated using hidden weapons. He then handed Musheng a strange tool and told him to open it. At first, Musheng could not see anything inside, but after concentrating carefully, he finally discovered the hidden weapon concealed within it. Jian gifted it to him, and Musheng thanked him sincerely. During their conversation, Musheng also mentioned that a new magical forest had appeared near the clan. He explained that such forests often contain powerful beasts and rare plants, and he planned to explore it to test his strength. He invited Jian to accompany him, and Jian agreed, saying they would go later. The following day, Yu's subordinate appeared sitting alongside a group of thugs. He informed them that they still had not found the people wearing the mysterious hats. Suddenly, one of his followers arrived and revealed that he had spotted 6 individuals matching the description in the city market. The man, whose name was Zhang, immediately realized they had found their targets and ordered everyone to move out at once. Elsewhere, Wang and his group were wandering through the market while wearing the hats Jian had given them to conceal their identities. They eventually entered a shop to buy food. Zhang had been secretly observing them closely and had brought Yu along with him. Yu confirmed that these people matched the descriptions he had been searching for. Zhang noticed that they were wearing hats identical to the ones shown in Yu's drawing. Yu then suggested sending someone to cause trouble nearby in order to see whether they would interfere or remain uninvolved. Zhang agreed and sent a group of thugs into the shop where Wang was eating. The thugs immediately began wrecking the place and insulting the elderly shop owner. When Wang saw this, he felt the urge to step in and help. However, he hesitated and wondered to himself what Jian would have done in his place. Would Jian intervene or simply remain seated? In the end, Wang decided that Jian would definitely take action, so he ordered his assistant, Saki, to move. Saki draws her sword and attacks the thugs without hesitation, easily overpowering them. But their leader steps in and attacks her. At the last second, Wang intervenes, blocks the attack, and lands a powerful blow to the man's chest, sending him flying back. It is clear that Wang has trained well using the techniques from the book Jian gave him. The battle between Wang and the thug continues at high speed, while Yu watches from afar. Eventually, the thug manages to cut off the hat Wang is wearing. The moment Yu sees his face, he is shocked, as if he recognizes him. At that moment, the thug nearly finishes Wang off, but a warrior suddenly appears, breaks the thug's sword, and blocks his attack. The thug becomes frightened and runs away. Wang thanks the warrior and asks his name. The warrior tells him he is called Zhu and that he is a disciple of the Jiyuhan clan. Wang immediately realizes that Zhu belongs to the same clan as Jian. Meanwhile, Yu's leader arrives at the scene. The moment he sees Wang, he recognizes him as the son of one of the kings of the demon clans because he had met Wang's father before. He asks his subordinate why Wang is here, but the man says he does not know and suggests monitoring him. The leader agrees, and it seems he intends to get rid of Wang. Back with Wang, after Zhu says goodbye and leaves, Wang tells his followers that one day he will repay both Jian and Zhu for their kindness, but for now, he needs to find a safe place to settle down and live peacefully. That night, Jian returns home to rest, but a voice calls out to him. When he turns around, he finds Lin. She tells him that she brought him a gift and left it inside the barrel. Jian is surprised because he had no idea. When he opens the barrel, he finds the gift inside and thanks her. Lin looks extremely happy. The next day, Musheng is waiting for Jian so they can go to the magical forest. Jian arrives and the two set off together. After they arrive, a message from the system appears, warning Jian that bandits are chasing them. Jian notices them and informs Musheng, so the two quickly fly away. Inside the forest, the rest of the bandits are watching two monsters fight, planning to profit from one of their corpses and sell it. At that moment, their companion who was chasing Jian contacts them, but he suddenly disappears. Jian and Musheng arrive and quickly eliminate two of the bandits. Then a girl from the same gang appears. Musheng tries to attack her, but she uses a strange spell to control his mind and attempts to make him kill himself. Jian intervenes at the last second, eliminates her, and frees Musheng from her control. Then he gets rid of the final member of the gang. At the same time, the battle between the monsters continues, and a third monster appears, but Jian defeats it with ease, frightening the other monsters. He then orders them to attack Musheng in order to test his strength. The monsters begin attacking Musheng with all their power. Musheng manages to keep up with them and even cuts off one monster's arm, but the limb regenerates and the monster attacks him fiercely. Musheng takes a heavy blow, then regains his energy and continues fighting. When the third monster returns to attack, Jian steps in and stops it. He defeats it easily and subdues it. Not only that, but he manages to tame all three monsters and orders them to continue fighting Musheng. Musheng takes advantage of the opportunity and finally lands the finishing blow, winning the fight. After the battle ends, Jian thanks the monsters. Then he notices a rare flower and walks toward it. Suddenly, the sky changes and lightning strikes the area. Jian realizes it is the spiritual thunder flower, a rare flower that protects itself. Even so, he takes it easily. Afterward, he returns to the clan headquarters and sits with Master Mo to play chess. Master Mo is one of the closest teachers to Jian and treats him like a father. However, Master Tang arrives and tells Jian that Instructor Lai wants to see him immediately. Jian goes to meet Instructor Lai and finds her sitting in a beautiful flower garden. He is amazed by the scenery and the harmony of its colors. When he asks why she wanted to see him, she tells him that she was not the one who requested the meeting. It was the clan leader herself. She explains that the clan leader heard about Jian's recent achievements and wanted to meet him. Instructor Lai then leads him through the garden until they reach a certain place. Suddenly, a strange spell appears and binds Jian in place. It turns out the one who cast the spell is the clan leader, Sora. She asks Instructor Lai who this young man is, and Lai tells her that he is Jian, the one she asked to meet. Sora then releases him from the spell. Jian greets her respectfully, but he notices a strong, pleasant fragrance in the area. When he asks about its source, Sora tells him to follow her. She takes him to a hidden place inside the garden, where a rare flower gives off an incredibly beautiful scent. The moment Jian sees it, he realizes it can be used to create a powerful healing potion. Jian wants to take the flower, but Sora tells him that it is extremely rare and that only two exist in the entire world. She says she can give it to him, but on two conditions. The first condition is that he must take care of the flower garden and look after all its plants. Jian agrees and asks about the second condition. Sora tells him that he must defeat her, but not in a fight or duel, in a dancing contest. Jian is shocked by the strange challenge, but he eventually agrees. Elsewhere, Jin, Liao, and the three sisters are searching for Jian because they want him to train them. But when some clan disciples see them, they try to approach them. Liao becomes angry, activates her power, and sends them all flying with a single strike. Back with Jian and Sora, the dance contest begins. Sora starts dancing by herself. Then Jian joins her and performs impressive moves. They continue dancing for a while, and during the contest, Sora keeps drinking juice until she loses her balance from being drunk. Sora sits down to rest. When Instructor Lai approaches to take her back to her room, Sora loses control of herself, activates her power, and begins destroying the place unconsciously. In the end, she passes out and falls asleep. Jian then leaves. That night, Jin, Liao, and the three sisters sit together, wondering where Jian could be after searching everywhere for him without success. The next day, Jian is in the flower garden taking care of the plants as part of his agreement. Sora comes to him and asks him to spend some time with her, clearly showing interest in him. Jian tries to avoid her, but she becomes angry and uses her power, forcing him to return. She offers him a special energy as a reward if he spends time with her. When Jian sees it, he is amazed, because it can grant him great strength, so he agrees to her request. Elsewhere, Master Tang and Instructor Lai are training the new disciples. Suddenly, Tang feels severe pain in his back and falls down. One of the disciples reaches out to help him, and Tang thinks it is Instructor Lai. But when he realizes the truth, he pushes the disciple away. Back with Giant, he is spending time with Sora as they talk and sing together. Then Instructor Lai arrives and tells him that his master wants to see him. Sora asks Lai to leave him with her, but Lai says that an important guest from one of the kingdoms must be received, and there is no time to play around. Giant leaves, but he senses someone watching him. He tells the person to come out. Musheng emerges from behind the trees, injured and clearly defeated. He explains that he was training with one of the monsters Giant had tamed, but he could not defeat it. Giant invites him to his house and tells him he will give him special training that will make him stronger quickly. Musheng goes with him. Giant takes him into a hidden magical space inside the house. Then he brings out magical stones and places them on the claw of a legendary beast he had killed before. The stones merge with the claw and form a magical circle. Giant tells Musheng to sit inside the circle and try to absorb its energy. He explains that this will allow him to gain tremendous power in a short time. Musheng thanks him and immediately begins doing as instructed. Giant then seals the door with magical seals and says that it will not open until Musheng finishes absorbing the circle's energy and completes his training. The next day, Giant heads to the clan headquarters, but Master Tang blocks his path and scolds him for ignoring his previous request. Then he takes Giant aside and asks why he has been so busy lately and why he has not been training with him. Giant explains that he has been busy taking care of the plants in clan leader Sora's garden. Tang calms down and says he forgives him. However, he also tells Giant that an upcoming competition will soon be held involving martial arts and mind games, and he wants Giant to participate. Giant refuses at first, but Tang insists, saying he wants to hold his head high in front of the other teachers by showing everyone the strength and intelligence of his disciple. Giant eventually agrees and asks when the competition will take place. Tang tells him it will be in the middle of next month. Giant promises that he will win it for him. Tang is deeply moved by his words. As Giant walks away, he suddenly senses someone approaching him at high speed. Without hesitation, he kicks the person and sends him crashing into a pillar. But then Giant realizes he has made a huge mistake. The man he kicked is actually one of the royal officials Sora had been waiting for. Suddenly, Giant is restrained by magic and brought before Sora. Sora tells him that she saw him attack the guest, but she will not tell him when he wakes up if Giant agrees to spend some time with her. Giant accepts and sits with her. After a while, Instructor Lai arrives and tells him that she heard he had joined the competition. She reminds him that he used to prefer staying away from trouble. Giant explains that he did not want to participate, but his master asked him to. Lai understands. Elsewhere, a disciple named Yan returns from traveling. He is a traveling merchant who brings rare goods, so the disciples gather around him to buy what he has. Afterward, he heads into the forest to visit Giant, but he falls into one of Giant's traps, and giant spiders appear and attack him. At the last second, Giant arrives, disables the trap, and saves him. Giant takes Yan back to his house. There, Yan tells him that he has just returned and thanks him for the energy Giant had given him before. Then he surprises Giant by offering to buy him a large house. Yan explains that he found a mansion in a nearby city and wants to buy it for Giant as repayment for his kindness. Giant agrees, and they go together. However, Giant's speed exhausts Yan, forcing him to stop. Giant gives him an energy pill to restore his strength, and they continue the journey until they arrive at the house. The owner, Kong, welcomes them and shows them around. Giant likes the place, but the price is very high. Yan tries to negotiate, but Kong refuses to lower it. Giant then steps in and offers Kong a trade. Kong tells them he needs a powerful weapon for an upcoming battle. Giant takes out a rare sword from his storage ring. Kong is impressed and tests it with tremendous strength. He agrees to the deal, but then suddenly attacks Giant. Giant blocks him, and a fight breaks out between them. Kong uses magical armor that boosts his strength and allows him to release powerful energy. Giant tries to injure him, but the armor makes it difficult. Then Kong attacks with a powerful blast of energy. Giant grabs his arm and redirects the energy back into the armor itself. destroying it. Kong backs away from Jian, shocked by his strength. Jian tells him that he seems like a fraud who lures people interested in buying the house so he can kill and rob them. Jian confirms his suspicions by using wind magic in the garden, causing buried skeletons to appear beneath the ground. Kong becomes furious, channels magical energy into the sword, and attacks again. But Jian breaks his ribs with a single strike and defeats him. He then asks Yan to go and summon the city guards to arrest him. After that, Jian says he will bury the bones of the victims in a proper place. Yan agrees and rushes off to carry out the order. The next day, Mushing continues his training and finally succeeds in absorbing all the energy from the magical circle. He comes out and finds Jian waiting for him. Mushing tells him that he has become much stronger thanks to the training, but Jian suddenly attacks him without warning. Mushing blocks the attack and counters. The two continue fighting for a while. Jian launches a series of rapid strikes and is about to land the finishing blow, but Mushing successfully blocks it. Jian stops the fight and praises his great improvement. Then he tells Mushing that the first thing he needs to do now is take a bath, because he smells absolutely terrible. After that, Jian goes to Sora and spends some time playing with her, eventually managing to defeat her in the game. However, Instructor Lai arrives and tells him to stop playing because the tournament is approaching and he needs to prepare seriously. At that moment, Sora gives him a magical armor to protect him during battles, along with the box containing the energy pill she had promised him. Jian thanks her and returns home, where he carefully examines the items he now possesses: the magical armor, the energy pill, and the heart protection armor he had already been carrying with him. Soon after, Mushing arrives at Jian's house and tells him that he will also participate in the competition. Jian warns him that the participants will be extremely powerful and that he is currently one of the weakest among them. Even so, Jian gives him an energy pill to increase his strength. Mushing struggles at first to absorb its power, but he eventually succeeds and immediately feels his strength growing. Jian then informs him that he will teach him a secret combat technique, takes him to a private location, and hands him a sword specially forged for him. When Mushing tests the sword, he easily shatters a massive rock standing in front of him. Jian takes the sword back and tells Mushing to watch carefully. He channels lightning magic into the blade, causing countless sharp energy blades to burst out in every direction. It becomes clear that this is the secret technique Jian wanted to teach him, and Mushing is deeply impressed by its power. Jian then hands him the sword and orders him to keep training with it until the day of the competition arrives. As days and weeks pass, the tournament finally draws near, and all the participating disciples gather with great excitement. At that moment, Master Looming arrives, one of the 5 strongest warriors in the entire world, to oversee the participants. He announces that Mushing has become the strongest among the disciples and therefore deserves the leadership badge, ordering everyone else to obey him. Mushing accepts the position while the other disciples react with mixed feelings. Soon afterward, the carriages are prepared to transport everyone to the location of the tournament. While Jian attempts to quietly board his carriage, he notices Jin, Liao, and the 3 sisters nearby and tries to sneak away unnoticed. However, a girl named Suya stops him and says she will ride in the same carriage with him while trying to introduce herself. Jian ignores her completely, and while she tries to follow him, she trips and falls to the ground. Jian simply leaves her there while the others laugh. Shortly afterward, another disciple offers Jian 2 energy stones in exchange for switching seats, and Jian immediately accepts. Finally, the carriages depart, and Jian studies the map, discovering that they are heading toward the headquarters of the Moon Clan, where the tournament will take place. At the same time, a mysterious man receives a message delivered by a bird. After reading it, he discovers orders instructing him to create chaos among the participating clans and ignite a war between them. He instantly burns the message, leaving his identity and the identity of the sender completely unknown. Meanwhile, Jian and his group arrive at the Moon Clan headquarters, where they are greeted by a man riding a gigantic bird. He welcomes them warmly and leads them to their assigned accommodations. Jian enters his room and discovers that his roommate is named Rod. Rod asks him to play chess, and Jian agrees before defeating him with ease. Rod admits that he expected to lose because Jian's reputation as a genius chess player has already spread widely. Jian thanks him for the compliment and later leaves the the room, wanting to explore the Moon Clan headquarters a bit. Jian heads outside, but the system suddenly appears and warns him about possible dangers, advising him to avoid trouble and stay cautious. Jian sarcastically dismisses the warning and continues walking through the streets. Along the way, he notices disciples from different clans engaged in a brutal fight, their battle growing increasingly violent. Not wanting to get involved, Jian quietly climbs a nearby tree to avoid attracting attention. Later, he heads toward the marketplace and becomes fascinated by the lively atmosphere of the city. Suddenly, however, he notices Suya again, the same girl who previously tried to get close to him. Jian immediately attempts to avoid her, but she spots him and asks him to walk around the city with her. The moment she turns her back, Jian escapes once again and hides in a peaceful garden to rest. Unfortunately for him, Suya follows him there and sits beside him. She thinks to herself that the way to a man's heart is through food, so she takes out the meal she prepared for him. Jian ignores her once again and simply leaves the place. Meanwhile, Mosheng is walking calmly when two disciples from his clan rush over and inform him that 5 of their companions fought with members of the Moon Clan and suffered serious injuries. Mosheng decides to report the matter to Master Looming, but Jian contacts him mentally and tells him to handle the situation himself before it escalates into a major conflict between the clans. Mosheng agrees, takes 2 companions with him, and heads directly to the Moon Clan headquarters. Upon arriving, he loudly demands to know who attacked his fellow disciples. One man steps forward proudly, admits responsibility, and mocks him. A fierce battle immediately begins between them. Mosheng manages to dodge all of his opponent's attacks while striking back at incredible speed, eventually wounding him before he even realizes what happened. The enemy becomes terrified and begs for mercy. However, at that moment, one of the Moon Clan instructors arrives and threatens to kill Mosheng. Mosheng becomes furious, but Jian once again contacts him mentally and orders him to retreat and inform Master Looming instead. Mosheng obeys and returns to Looming, explaining everything that happened. Master Looming becomes enraged and personally heads toward the Moon Clan instructor. Upon arriving, he demands that the instructor show himself and angrily scolds him for threatening one of his disciples. The argument quickly turns into a violent clash that shakes the entire area. Before the situation can spiral further out of control, the Moon Clan leader, Chan, intervenes and orders both sides to stop fighting. Looming explains the entire situation, but Chan refuses to believe him and attacks anyway. Just before the conflict escalates into full-scale chaos, a great warrior suddenly appears and forces both sides to stop. It is revealed that this man is the immortal Xuan, the strongest warrior in the world. He harshly reprimands both sides for their reckless behavior, causing them to immediately calm down and claim the whole thing was simply a misunderstanding. Curious, they ask why he has come personally, and Xuan replies that he arrived to watch the tournament. He then invites them both to accompany him for a meal, and they agree. Elsewhere, Mosheng sits with Jian and gives him a rare flower so he can turn it into an energy pill. Jian places the flower inside his storage ring and asks where he got it from. Mosheng explains that Master Looming rewarded him with it. He then tells Jian about a secret auction taking place the next day and asks him to come along. Jian agrees, and the following day they both attend the auction while wearing masks to conceal their identities. Inside the auction, each participant sits in a separate room while magical screens display the items being sold. The bidding begins, and among the items shown is a magical combat robe. Mosheng asks Jian for advice, and Jian tells him to buy it. Mosheng enters the bidding war and eventually wins the robe, receiving the box and paying the required price. By the end of the auction, the two of them have purchased many valuable items, all of which Jian stores inside his magical ring. The next day, the tournament officially begins as all the disciples gather together. Immortal Xuan announces the start of the competition, but suddenly a gigantic demonic dragon made entirely of dark energy appears in the sky. The teachers immediately create a magical barrier to protect the tournament grounds from the terrifying entity. However, the dragon easily shatters the barrier and causes a massive explosion that shakes the entire area. From within the demonic dragon's energy emerge the disciples of the demonic clan. Immortal Xuan immediately attacks them, but the demonic clan leader blocks him and explains that they came to participate in the tournament like everyone else, not to start trouble. Xuan coldly replies that their clan is not welcome and orders them to leave immediately. The demonic clan leader, Huan, mocks him and accuses him of being being afraid of his disciples' strength. Enraged, Xuan finally agrees to let them participate, but warns them that if they cheat, every single one of them will be punished. With that, the agreement is settled. Huan later gathers his disciples and warns them not to cheat during the competition. Soon afterward, a girl named Mayan enters the battlefield and challenges everyone. A disciple from the Heavenly Thunder clan steps forward and attacks her using cloning techniques, but Mayan defeats him with a single strike. Later, Jin, Liao, and the three sisters compete against the demonic clan disciples in a spiritual music contest. Both sides begin playing their instruments as spiritual energies collide violently. In the end, the girls' instruments shatter completely, and the demonic clan wins the challenge. At the same time, Jian participates in the chess tournament and achieves easy victories, while Musheng dominates his opponents in combat one after another. At the end of the day, Immortal Xuan gathers the clan leaders and disciples together. He informs them that the demonic clan has surpassed everyone in nearly every competition, and urges them to give everything they have the next day. He promises enormous rewards if they manage to win. However, Huan suddenly appears and mocks them openly, declaring that his disciples will never lose. The following day, Rod faces one of the demonic clan disciples in chess. It is revealed that his opponent is named Mo, the brother of Mayan, and Mo defeats Rod successfully. The judge announces that the final chess match will begin in 10 minutes between Jian and Mo. Rod immediately approaches Jian and begs him to win as revenge on his behalf. Jian confidently assures him that he will. At that moment, Jin, Liao, and the other girls arrive to watch the match. When the battle begins, Mo becomes so excited that he accidentally destroys the chessboard itself. Before the judge can react, Jian proposes a game of blind chess, which relies entirely on mental calculations instead of a physical board. Mo agrees, and the two begin throwing difficult calculations and strategic questions at one another. At first, both of them answer perfectly, while even the judge struggles to keep up. Immortal Xuan, Huan, and Looming all watch in amazement as the match intensifies. Eventually, Jian asks a question so difficult that Mo cannot solve it despite trying desperately for a long time. Mayan attempts to encourage her brother, but Musheng tells her to stay quiet. Furious, she nearly attacks him, but Xuan intervenes and stops them both. In the end, Jian is declared the winner. The disciples cheer loudly while Xuan proudly congratulates him and personally hands him the reward. As Jian leaves, a man named Huang approaches him to offer congratulations. However, Jian immediately senses danger from him, and the system confirms his suspicion by warning that Huang is responsible for many crimes. Jian tries to calmly end the conversation and walk away, but suddenly Mayan appears again and threatens him, accusing him of cheating because he defeated her brother. Jian immediately calls out loudly for Xuan, causing her to flee before he arrives. When Xuan, Looming, and Huan show up, Jian explains what happened. Huan awkwardly claims that Mayan was only joking and attempts to ease the situation. Soon afterward, a new battle begins between Musheng and Mayan in the combat arena. The two clash with their full strength, and the fight becomes extremely intense. Musheng uses the sword Jian gave him and activates the secret technique, unleashing sharp energy blades that successfully wound Mayan. However, at that moment, the mysterious figure seen earlier appears again, seemingly preparing to carry out something dangerous. The battle continues, and Musheng ultimately defeats Mayan and wins the match. At the same time, the mysterious figure finally decides to execute his plan to create conflict between the clans and ignite war. He aims a deadly weapon toward Jin, who is standing beside Jian among the disciples, and fires a fatal arrow. At the last second, Jian senses the danger and pushes Jin away, causing the arrow to strike his own body instead. Jian collapses to the ground as everyone rushes toward him in shock. Master Looming sees the arrow and immediately recognizes it as a weapon crafted by the demonic clan. Furious, he accuses them on the spot and declares war instantly. The other clans immediately charge toward the demonic clan disciples, and a massive battle erupts. Musheng becomes extremely enraged after seeing Jian injured and fights violently. Meanwhile, Looming directly confronts Huan and attempts to kill him, while the other clan leaders join together in attacking him. Despite this, Huan blocks all of them with ease and insists that the attack was merely a misunderstanding, and that the true attacker was not one of his followers. Immortal Xuan steps forward and confronts Huan personally. Their clash becomes so powerful that the earth itself trembles beneath them. Before the battle can spiral further, Jian suddenly regains consciousness. Everyone rushes to check on him, and he assures them that he is fine. Luming tells him to rest immediately. Meanwhile, the mysterious attacker is completely shocked that Jian survived. He attempts to escape, but Huan catches him using his power and confronts him, revealing that he was indeed the one responsible for the attack after discovering the weapon in his possession. Xuan asks Huan whether the man belongs to his clan, and Huan admits that he does, but insists he does not know why he acted this way. The man is then taken away for interrogation. Later, while Jian rests, Luming asks him how he managed to survive the deadly arrow. Jian shows him the two armors he was wearing, the magical armor from Sora and the armor protecting his heart. He explains that he is always cautious and fears death greatly, which is why he constantly wears protection. After hearing this, Luming leaves him alone to recover. That night, Xuan, Luming, and Huan gather together. Huan explains that during the interrogation, the man confessed that someone mysterious paid him to create conflict among the clans, though he never revealed who that person truly was. The following day, after recovering, Jian walks through the Moon Clan headquarters. Because of his growing fame, many girls surround him admiringly, but Musheng drives them away, insisting Jian needs rest. Later, Xuan and Huan visit Jian privately and ask for his thoughts about who might be behind the attack. Jian theorizes that the mastermind must be someone extremely influential, perhaps even one of the clan leaders themselves. Both Xuan and Huan agree with his analysis and decide to continue investigating. Afterward, Jian heads toward the market, but soon notices that a girl is secretly following him. He lures her into a secluded area and confronts her directly. At first, she tries to avoid answering, but eventually she admits that Mayan sent her to spy on him because she wants to fight him personally. Jian threatens to report this to the demonic clan leader. That night, Jian visits Xuan and Huan again and finds them searching through records of the clan leaders. He informs them about Mayan's actions and then notices Huang's name among the records. Instantly, he remembers the warning the system gave him earlier. It is revealed that Huang is the leader of the Yellow Dragon clan. When Jian asks about the location of the clan headquarters, he learns that it is based in Longshan City, the same city he visited previously. Jian explains that criminal gangs there kidnap people and sell them as slaves, suggesting they are connected to Huang. He concludes that Huang's true goal is to start a war among the clans, weaken them all, and then seize control afterward. Xuan and Huan are convinced by Jian's reasoning. Huan assigns Jian the mission of traveling to Longshan City to destroy the criminal organization, while Huan himself investigates Huang further. Xuan insists they must gather proper evidence before taking any direct action. The next day, the clans gather once more and announce that the tournament will continue normally while the investigation proceeds separately. Jian later heads into the forest to rest, unaware that Jin, Liao, and the three sisters are secretly watching him from afar. Jian notices them and loudly asks what they want from him. The girls explain that they want him to train them personally. Jian reluctantly agrees on one condition: they must first reach a certain cultivation level known as the Foundation Realm. If they achieve that level, he will consider training them. The girls happily accept the condition and leave. Almost immediately afterward, Musheng approaches Jian again and asks to speak with him. Jian asks what he wants, and Musheng explains that within a few hours he will face Mo in the final combat match of the tournament. He admits that Mo is far stronger than him and has already reached a higher level of cultivation. Because of this, he came to ask whether Jian had finished creating the energy pill from the flower he previously gave him. Jian calmly replies that he already prepared it. However, Jian warns him that fully absorbing the pill would take an entire day, and with so little time left, his body will not be able to completely process its power. Still, taking it could give him a temporary boost in strength, though it may also cause side effects and make him lose control of his energy. Despite the risks, Musheng insists on taking it, so Jian agrees and hands it to him. Hours pass, and the time for the battle finally arrives. Musheng and Mo step onto the battlefield and begin exchanging sword strikes. Mo uses black lightning magic to attack Musheng, who dodges the attack and counters with the blades released from his sword. However, Mo blocks them with ease. In the stands, Master Luming cheers passionately for his disciple, while Musheng starts feeling pain throughout his body because he has not fully absorbed the energy pill. Mo takes advantage of this and continues attacking without giving him a chance to rest. The battle intensifies, and the area around the arena begins to collapse from the force of their sword clashes. Mo enhances his sword with magic, causing its form to change, then attacks with even greater ferocity. Musheng flies into the air to avoid the strike, but a powerful blow sends him crashing back to the ground. Mo attacks him again, and Musheng barely manages to defend himself. Then he gathers his strength, uses lightning magic, and lands a direct hit on his opponent. Mo falls to the ground, and Musheng is declared the winner. The disciples celebrate his victory, which restores their pride in front of the demonic clan. After that, Jian is sitting in his room when the leader of the demon clan arrives with Xuan. They tell him that they have obtained information about the gang in Longshan City, which has been committing acts of violence and intimidation for a long time without anyone being able to stop them. Because of this, they assign Jian to go with Mayan and eliminate the gang. Jian objects to being paired with her because of the tension between them, but Xuan convinces him that the mission is a chance to end their conflict. Meanwhile, the Jeyuhan clan disciples prepare to return after the tournament ends. Jin, Liao, and the three sisters wonder why Jian is absent and why he is not returning with them. At the same time, Jian is already on his way to Longshan in a carriage with Mayan, and it is obvious that the two cannot stand each other. Along the way, the girl who had previously been spying on Jian joins them. Jian objects to her presence, but Mayan says she is her closest friend and never leaves her side. Jian refuses to accept this easily and sets one condition: she must obey orders. Mayan agrees. They finally arrive in Longshan City. Jian notices that everything appears normal and sees no trace of the gang they are searching for. Known as the Yellow Gang, he sits with one of the residents and asks about them. The man explains that about a month ago, a young man named Wang appeared, defeated the gang members, and drove them out of the city. When Jian learns that Wang was the one who expelled the gang, he feels extremely happy and thanks the man for the information. He then goes to Mayan and tells her to find them an inn to stay in while he goes to meet Wang and returns in the evening. That night, Jian arrives at the house where Wang is staying and finds magical skeleton guards standing at the entrance. He uses invisibility magic and passes through them with ease before meeting Wang, who warmly welcomes him and asks his attendant to leave them alone so they can speak privately. Jian asks Wang about the Yellow Gang, and Wang confirms that he was indeed the one who drove them out of the city after becoming stronger thanks to the combat techniques he learned from the book Jian gave him. He also tells Jian that he discovered the leader of the Yellow Dragon clan is the one controlling the gang and giving them orders. Wang adds that the Salamander continent contains 12 kingdoms besides their own, and that one of the kings of a neighboring kingdom made a deal with Huang to ignite an internal war inside their kingdom, making it easier to conquer later. Jian realizes how dangerous this information is and tells Wang that he will report it to Xuan. He then leaves. The next day, Mayan wakes her friend so they can leave the inn and search for the gang, only to find Jian standing at the door. He tells them that the gang is no longer in the city because Wang drove them out. Mayan's friend doubts his words, but Jian insists that there is no time to argue and that they must inform Xuan and Huan immediately. The three of them go to Xuan and Huan, and Jian explains everything he learned. He confirms that Huang betrayed his kingdom and is working for another king. Xuan and Huan decide to search for Huang and eliminate him, especially since he disappeared after the tournament ended. Elsewhere, the leader of the Yellow Gang receives orders to attack Longshan City again and reclaim it. He agrees and begins preparing for the assault within the next few days. Back with Jian, Huan asks him for the name of the friend who drove out the gang. Jian tells him it was Wang. Huan recognizes the name and praises both Wang and his father. He then gives Jian an object resembling a flute. When Jian blows into it, a magical cloud appears, capable of flying at great speed. Huan grants it to him as a reward, and Jian thanks him before using it to return to his clan headquarters. After Jian leaves, Xuan asks Huan about his plan regarding the gang. Huan explains that he will monitor the situation and send Mo to Longshan to eliminate them if they return. When Jian arrives back at the clan, Sora welcomes him and complains about his long absence. She then pulls him away to play with her, and Jian eventually gives in. The next day, Wang appears in the city market with Zhu and and his attendant. Suddenly, a fire breaks out, and Wang rushes to extinguish it. However, one of the masked gang members attacks him, injures him, and breaks his sword. The attacker also strikes his companions. He then moves to kill the girl, but Mo arrives at the last moment and defeats him. Meanwhile, Wang loses consciousness, and with that, the events of the story come to an end.